Hi guys, I'm Mark Hills, AUFX Pro Trading. So a little about me. My career spans right back to 1997 when I started in markets. At that stage, in all honesty, I couldn't have even told you what the ASX was, but boy oh boy has there been a long learning curve since that day. So this video I just wanted to do up about the EA that I've developed along with a very smart coding guy that I'm associated with. This journey started out around about 12 months ago, almost to the day. Up until that point, my view of EAs were, we all hear that every EA loses, crashes and burns. So my thoughts were, why would I ever want to get involved with anything like that? However, a guy that I got to know spent a considerable amount of money and a considerable amount of time in developing one to the point where he is now profitable and trading nearly a $2 million account on FX. Yes, that's live, real money. I have seen it. That changed my mind, and he was actually instigation. He suggested, why don't I try and code my strategies into an EA? And so the journey began, and what a journey that was. So, you guys watching this probably don't know me about my personality, my drive and tenacity. So anyone that has done a course with me will quickly come to realize that, yes, what I say is pretty much accurate, and what I do works, and I will keep going on something until I get it to work, which is the approach I've taken with the EA, just like everything else. So we set out this time last year. We basically got the initial version of it up and running to start the year off, using the formations of what I use to trade with now. So basically in my trading at this day and age, it's pretty much 10-15% subjectivity. The rest is all automated to the point where profit targets are automatic, stop losses automatic, the formations are marked automatically on the chart, etc., etc. So we're already halfway there. So from there we developed to the EA. Now, of course, I'm sure if you're watching this, you're interested in EAs and you've done some research. Trading manual compared to EA is a whole different ball game. So firstly, we come back to smaller time frame charts to give us more bang for our buck, so we could extend targets, get more trades, then filter from there. So that was the first approach. We then found that the rigid structure that I had for manual trading, we've reconfigured that to work for the EA. Now, of course, and I'm going to be right up front here, that when you are trading EAs, if anyone tells you they've got an 80 or a 90% success rate with an EA, you just turn and walk out the door. It does not happen, or I have never seen it happen for any longer than maybe a 2, 3, or a 4 months period, right? EA has plenty of losses. EA trading is purely 100% a numbers game. So, the majority of our strategies run around about 45 up to, I think, about 58% is about the best that we've got. Now, the ones that are on the lower scale, those are 4-to-1 win-loss, which means that's fine with that. But you do get a bigger drawdown, so you have to accommodate for that. The higher success rate is around about a 2-to-1, which means you get more trades and a higher win rate, and you don't get the drawdown. But then if you get in a really tight period, you can get into more sideways. So there's avenues of how I've constructed this. So basically I've come down to the fact that we have a couple of small time frame charts, a couple of wider time frame charts. I use the PT3 or the concept of the PT3, and also another system that I've developed along the way using the accelerator index and the BW zone, a combination of that with what I do thrown in on top of either a 2-bar or a 3-bar formation. So that's the nucleus of what we do and what we're running. So for the first 12 months, we tried to run too many pairs. At one stage, we had, I think, 11 pairs on there. Fine when everything's working, the money rolls in. However, when you get to May, June, and then the back end of the year when things get tight, it holds you back and you go into a drawdown, which gets too unsustainable. So going forward from about August or September, also we realised then that once you have everything documented and it's doing exactly the same thing every trade, as opposed to our manual trading where, oh, you know, we can dodgy this one and dodgy that one. The EA gives you an exact record. So what I've done, and something you've probably never heard of anywhere, I have a batch of codes that run in the start of the year when the higher volatility is, the first 4 months. And then in the back end of the year, they're the same pairs, but they are filtered and configured to suit the back end of the year with your sideways slow chop, what they do. That's been a big advantage, and that's put us to where we are now. So, you know, there's no doubt I started in 97, I've been in FX since 2005. There is no doubt that the first 4 months of the year are the most robust. That's the easy part to make money. So that's where we'll look at it at targeting coming up now. So if you want to come on board now, you're really in the box seat to start off good rather than coming in the middle of the year when everything slows down. So what I want to do now is just come through a couple of these codes and I'll show you what we've got in the codes, what they look like. So the codes, so with our EA, we load the EA onto the chart, which reads the code in the background. So most EAs that you buy, everything is in the one, just in the EA. You don't load 2 files. With ours, we have the code, right? And the EA reads the code in your folder. The code doesn't actually go onto the chart. But once you put the EA on, it shows you all the formations, it shows you the target. So as the EA is progressing, on your chart, you already have the targets are all marked, which you'll see when I show you in a minute. Everything is there. Then also at the end of the month, you can do an export, so you can print out the trades from the code, and then you can also print out the trades from your trading history, and you can see whether the codes from your trading history is marrying up with the codes that's thrown out, which it does, of course. The only thing with the back testing and what you print out in the Excel spreadsheets, they carry forward over the weekend. We don't hold any trades over the weekend. They are closed out. And if I want to re-enter them, we do that Monday. It's a safeguard, especially when you're dealing with the US 500, which is one of the pairs we use. If we get a 300-point drop over the weekend, you can bet that it's never going to be in your favor. It's going to work against you. So we don't want to be in that. So it's safer to close out over the weekend. So we probably lose a little bit there. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we gain. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So that's what we are. Okay, so let's come through now and have a look at a couple of the charts and how the code looks and what I do in the background with it. Okay, so let's come and have a look. One of the batch is the Euro Yen. And on here, first of all, we can see this is what's marked with the EA on there. Marks all these setups. There, so forth and so on, comes through. And that's what you see on your chart as you're trading. So let's have a look at the back end of the indicator. Okay, so this is quick run through of the features in there. We can export that, which means we can print the results out onto a spreadsheet, draw the objects and the stats, which we'll bring up in a minute. Pending orders, if we want to set pending orders in there, minimum formation, maximum. This is how we can lengthen out and subtract from our formations. There, our targets, 4.2 sections of the formation. Stop loss is 1.8, which is back down here. And we can set what months of the year that we want to trade. So what I do, so this code here, it's run all year. And now we've got to the end of the year, we can fine tune it. So we don't want to run it in January and we don't want to run it in September. Those two are the worst 2 months, so we're taking them out. The marker elevations and settings. Super trend is another thing that I use. Section sizes, nothing's taken out there. Level lines, trades within trades, a three-way triangle filter that I've developed. And then, of course, we have stop move up and target move up between. And, of course, then we have a time window. So this is when you get to the time window, and probably a lot of you still don't understand this and you don't see it as much in manual trading. What it does is the algorithms have specific times each week where all it does is this. And again, you won't see this anywhere. All it does is track the volume. So as soon as the volume goes one way, they drive it back the other way when it gets to a certain point. As soon as it reaches that point the other way, they drive it back to the other way. That's why all of a sudden in the middle of nowhere, you'll get a whole heap of chop and you get crucified. Now, it doesn't matter what system or strategy you've got, you're going to cop it. However, the way that we filter our trades looking back in time, now, we can go back, or I could go back 4 or 5 years. There's still going to be blocks of 2 hours on specific days of the week over a 5-year period on a 10-minute chart that there is no winning trades. They are all losses. Now, to get something that does that over a 5-year period shows that that is built into their algorithms, and it doesn't matter what you do in those times. If you're trading, you are going to get smashed. That's how they guarantee they always win, guys. That's the stuff that's built in, and this is what I've worked out and what we take out of the EA, right? All those blocks of losing trades. So we, the start of the day when we have spread, that comes into consideration as well. The end of the day, we don't want to be taking trades within 2 hours of rollover and all that sort of stuff. That's factored into it. Okay, so let's come and have a look at the stats of what just this one pair has done. So we'll take it, wind it back to, we want to go back to 2020, and we're going to set this on. So what this does when I do this, it lists every month's trades back there. So you can see exactly what's going on. So this is all done automatically, right? This is the code that's run by the EA. Okay, so you can see there's no manipulation, nothing here. I'll just give this a little wriggle to help move it along a bit. It makes the calculations quicker. So as you can see, there's no January and no September. So back in 2020, we've got 1,400. In 21, we've got 8.4. 22, we're up to 11.5, and this year I think we're up to around about 22 or 23 or something. And the year's basically at this point in time done and dusted. So we're up to 22. So we give back 1,200 in December. So December's, a month that can be a little bit ordinary. So we've got all these wins here. So let's come through and see what's happened in December, so that you're quite aware of what goes on. Now, as I say, in EA trading, you've got to wear stops. There, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, no one else is going to show you this, 14. And there's our win there. So how do we combat that? We have a thing in our EA that is risk increase and decrease. After 4 losing trades, the EA simply shuts off and does a minimal 0.01 of a lot, and there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lots. And from there on, folks, it doesn't cost you a red cent. It can do what it likes. And now we're waiting for everything to change around. And of course, we are in December, which is notorious for nothing happening. And we've had a big reversal in the markets, and there we go. So all those there. Now this is not a one-off. That's what happens all the time. But that's what we do to counteract it. I don't care. I don't care if there's 20 losing trades in a row while it's making its mind up what it's going to do. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. Okay, so that's the euro yen. Let's come through and have a look at another one now. Okay, so let's have a look at the pound yen on a 10-minute. So again, these are the formations. You get clusters here. 1, 2, 3. That's a 10-section trade there. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. So, you know, there's 10, 13, 16, 19, 22 sections. So that's really prolific. There, still keeps going. And then we get into December, the odd one there. And then we start to get to the run of where we go nowhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I say, our risk chops it out there. No more in there. We get 1 there. And 1, 2, and there. We keep going. And so forth and so on. And it cuts us out there. And that's where we are. And now we just had 1 throw in there. And we're at that stage there where I'm doing the video up today. So that's what happened. That's the flow of trade. So as I say, right from the word go, if you think EA is like manual trading where you can get 75% success rate, it doesn't happen. That's what it's all about. It is purely a numbers game. It's working for you 24 hours a day. That's what it does. So let's come through and have a look at the results on here. Indicators there. Show all stats back to 2021. True. Nothing else we need to change. Targets 4.2. Stop loss 1.8. And this time we have got June, July taken out. They're the only 2 months, or the worst 2 months. So let's run that and see what it looks like in the results. So we got 42%. 2022 was down to 36%, but we still managed to get 15 grand for the year. So it is just not too bad. And this year up on, at this point, 16. So by the time, as I say, so if you've got 3 codes, you're looking at 1% risk on a 10K account. So you basically have to cut that back to each one 0.5% risk, and it's still going to give you the same return over those. So that's what it does. So they're 2 of the ones that's going to be in there. Let's have a look at the pound AUD is going to be the next one we'll have a quick look at, which is start of the year only. Okay, so we have got the pound AUD is 20-minute. Let's throw the code on here, custom 114. True. Only 1. See what happens. So up to 43% win rate, 87, 52%, 48% this year. And as I say, that is looking at January, February, March, April only, and then July and August. All the other months are all consistently bad. That's how it works out. So that gives you an overview of basically where I'm at with the EA. So initially what I did was it was a full package deal, and you can look at this in various ways. So anyone that hadn't traded before was sort of a prerequisite that you do the course. 2-day course, or basically 1.5 days if you're doing EA trading, so you understand about the markets a little bit more coming into it, plus the EA package. That adds up to a considerable amount of money. So this is world standard stuff that we're dealing with here. So it's not the $3.99, here you go, or $4.99, here you go. We are looking at substantial outlay compared to that. So, but what I'm doing this year too, I've got a nucleus of clients on board, just a small amount I've taken on to see how we go. I don't envisage putting this out in mass numbers in any way, shape or form. However, what I will do is the full batch load that we had is this year, as I say, will be 6, a maximum of 7 codes. We'll cut the risk back to accommodate that. But pretty much what I'm looking at doing is doing just lots of 2 codes. So with a different base, so like a pound base or a yen base and an Aussie dollar base or a US dollar base, not both, so like the euro yen and the pound yen. You need to have a split pair. So I'm looking at that, which means it's more of an affordable way into it, which still is slightly more expensive than the courses, but what you are getting, what you're paying for is someone to work for you 5 days a week, 24 hours. That's how you must look at this. It's not a throwaway thing. It's something now you can also work with it and do what you want with it. Also with that, the original PT3 that we work with was run on MT4. I've now got a more sophisticated code than the PT3, so this is another advancement up even on the courses. If you choose to just do a course for manual trading, you'll now be getting the MT5 version, which opens up a whole different world to you, because you can now use 10-minute time frames, 12-minute, all custom, which is a big advantage. So I have a code for that. That code that we're using, I am still working on that to be able to run that in EA. It's a base code, works on 3 of the main filters, but the PT3 is designed purely around trends and turns. And it is more specific and more closer into the turn than what we've been working with, and it is quite effective, so that you can use that for manual trading. But look, there's plenty of alternatives, guys, out there. As I say, I've gone from 18 months ago, to I am not interested in manual trading anymore. I really am not interested in manual trading. I'm happy to let this run. I may look at what the EA is doing, which is about what I do. As I said, it's a numbers game. If there's a trade in there, I believe wholeheartedly I will override it and maybe terminate it when I see it presented. Or if there's trades come in very, very good positions in relation to filters and my knowledge, well then, rather than being on 0.5% risk, I'm going to bump that up to 1 or 1.5% risk for that trade only. So, you know, you can be as proactive or as inactive as you wish. It gives you the option. Look, in this day and age, electronic AI, and we've used AI to develop parts of this code, how it works, whether you like it or not, the days of hands-on and slaving, sitting in front of a screen for 8 hours a day trading, that does not cut it. We are well and truly past that. This is the next level of trading and where things are going in the future. So if you want to be part of the future, something that works for you instead of you slaving over it, by all means, please give me a call. My contact details are on the website. And at the end of this video. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this. If I can help you either with courses or this, please feel free to give me a buzz. Reach out. Cheers.